And we have a token that goes with that kind of goes with our company. This is the token you earn when you serve. It's a Solana token. It's on Radium. The ticker is Shoggoth. The contract address is pinned in my Twitter/X profile. It starts with a 9. Don't accept imitation Shoggoth. So we're really excited about this because this is for the first time ever a system where web GPU is used to share GPU resources. Other people are trying to share GPU resources, but I think they're doing it the wrong way. Almost everyone in America has a GPU, but very, very few people know how to install programs and run command line programs. And a lot of people are scared of them. They don't want to download a bunch of weird stuff. And I think just going to a website is a lot easier, and you have to reduce that friction. Anytime you ask somebody to do something special, they generally 95% of people won't do it, and they'll move on. And I think that number compounds. So if you ask them to do 2 really weird things, you basically will get almost nobody to use your product, but the denominator of the web is 7 billion. So you'll find somebody to use it, even if you miss 295% bounces, you'll still have a small user group. But we want to make it really easy to earn money. So as soon as you go to Shoggoth.ai and you press earn, your balance starts going up, which is, I think really great. But how do we create more and more opportunities for people to earn with their GPU? I think that we can create general systems that use your web GPU, sort of portal to your GPU to do work. So I think we could do like a PyTorch on the web, sort of like Torch.js, and allow people to use an arbitrary amount of compute. There's obviously going to be a ton of people connected to Shoggoth at any given time, ready to do work and earn with their GPU. And I think that setting up large clusters and doing huge scale inference is really difficult. It's really difficult for us. And one of the problems is load. So during the day, you might have a lot of traffic, but during the night, you might not, because the clock turns, America goes to sleep, the rest of the world wakes up, and your traffic is maybe more optimized for the US than it is for Europe or Asia. And for us, we have all these GPUs that are idle at night. And it really would be nice if we could just pay for the GPUs we use. But that's not really the way it works. You might be able to do that with EC2 and some of the other cloud tools out there for regular compute, but you can't do it with GPU, unfortunately. The GPU market's just too tight. So if there is inference you could do across gaming GPUs, I think this is a really exciting thing to do. NVIDIA doesn't allow the cloud companies to use gaming GPUs. So in some ways, this is a way to use them without the big cloud providers like Azure or AWS, since they're not available on those sites. So I'm really excited about kind of taking this first step and this proof of concept, which works and has been tested very, very vigorously by us and our users and colleagues, our beta users. And, again, crossing this first milestone of being able to share your GPU right on the browser and earn crypto immediately is something that's never been done. And I think this is the start of something where that'll scale more and more, where anybody who wants to run a neural network may think about the first machine they think about is the machine they're on, but the next machine they may think about is our machines. Because if you think about AWS or the great people at Lambda, who we're a great customer of and great friends of, those are wonderful computers. They're very expensive, and they're not always available. On Shoggoth, the computers are very cheap, and they're always available. There are 20 million gaming GPUs that could do a lot of work, and the people that own them have already paid for them. When you buy a computer, you pay for a GPU. It's in your computer, and you basically don't earn anything from it until you throw your computer away. Why not earn 50, 100, 200 bucks a month with your computer? There's other companies that do this, like Salad, SALAD.com. Salad will pay you $200 or $300 a month for your GPU computer, which is awesome. But you do have to install a bunch of stuff. You have to jump through a bunch of hoops. Our product is a lot easier to use. The nice thing about Salad is it's very developer-friendly. Our product is not developer-friendly yet. We have to find ways to allow this to scale to millions of developers who could use it at their will. My dream is that you could press a button and launch 5,000 clients or 5 clients, depending on your scale. And there's no way to do that right now at all. Even if you're a big cloud client, you still have to do a lot of work to get sort of distributed data, pipelines, array, clusters, or Kubernetes. It's a real pain in the neck to try to get sort of all that stuff working together. So, using something like this could be a really solid sort of way to get that to work. So I'll take some questions if anybody's interested. We can talk about the tokenomics. We can talk about all kinds of different things about Web GPU, but really excited about this product, and go ahead and give it a shot and make the images, any image you want. And if you post it on X and I see it and like it, I'll send you $100 of Shoggoth or something like that, and we can have some fun here. Our image model is a little bit looser than some of the more stringent sort of censorship versions of like Stability and Midjourney, so to let you make things more than some of those services will, but we still don't want you to go too crazy and make anything too objectionable. So we do stop certain things like pornography, but you'll find that we're a little more permissive than most of these. So anyway, that's kind of the thing. Mute, why don't you go ahead?
Hey Martin, we're mutuals on your Waggy.ai account. So hello to you and everyone in the space. So I guess my question is, how other generative AI platforms, like for example Meta, for example ChatGPT's AI art generator, they don't do like evil scheisse, they don't do like, for example, Allah or like Hitler. Does your Shoggoth.ai, I know there's would it be able to do that?
Yeah, so I mean, I'd encourage you to just try it and see. I think that our goal is to walk that tightrope that's somewhere between too edgy and just edgy enough. I think that most of the guys out there try to avoid edgy like the plague, because they could get in a bad news article, they could get hauled in front of Congress, etc. I mean, we don't want to be on the total right end of that spectrum, but I do think we want to be to the right of the Midjourneys and the Stabilities. I tried to make something really simple on Stability the other day, and it denied me, and I was really ticked off. And they kind of go overboard. So I see the images folks are generating, and I definitely see that we're definitely to the right of what Stability and Midjourney will generate. But if you look hard enough and far enough, there are probably sites out there that are even more kind of aggressive. Our job isn't to be a porno company. We're not trying to be the #1 kind of like edgiest place possible on the internet. I think that we want to loosen up a little bit, but and I think some of the other image gen companies kind of take themselves a little too seriously, but I don't think we want to help you make really wild, crazy images. I hope that helps.
Yeah, I'm watching your YouTube stream right now. I think you might have seen my comment or something. But it generated Hitler in a Jesus outfit, but not really that was my prompt. Hitler in a Jesus outfit. But the uniform is not a Jesus outfit. It's just him in a yarmulke. So
a yarmulke, okay.
Yeah, his mustache is full, so it's not really. It's Hitler-esque for sure.
Well, I think that there's a technique called in painting that we're going to allow sort of this ability to take your mouse and just like press or like paint kind of over the mustache, and it'll transform the mustache. So I think there's a lot of ways to kind of like do that. And the problem is a lot of these tools are available, but none of them are really in a solid central place. So like a couple of the image gen tools allow you to edit, a couple of them allow you to upscale, but nothing's got it in just one sort of centralized place, and we're going to try to do that. We have a lot of really cool examples with something called ControlNet. We're going to allow you to do fine tuning so that you can put your face in and your friends' faces in, as opposed to just celebrities and stuff like that. Obviously I might be in the model, but my brother isn't, and my brother looks different from me, and I'd love to make a image generation of me slam dunking a basketball on my brother, but the model doesn't know who my brother is because nobody really knows what he looks like. So I could just upload 5 or 10 photos, and this is something we're working on, and then the model will know, oh, okay, that's Martin's brother, say his name is John, and Martin dunking a basketball on John means what that means, and it'll actually generate that image. So I think there's so much to do with image gen that's not really been explored. And again, it's pretty low-end compute requirements, so why would we send this stuff to H100s or A100s? It doesn't make a lot of sense. And in fact, the company that created all of this, Shkreli, they're kind of basically teetering on bankruptcy and insolvency. I actually made an offer to buy the company because they have too many GPUs. So, and I don't blame them, actually. It wasn't a bad mistake they made. They didn't know exactly how many GPUs they would need. So they leased thousands of them. And they leased probably 2x too many, but maybe 3x or 4x. But regardless, like, they kind of erred on the side of leasing more than less, which kind of makes sense. But now they're stuck in these huge leases, and they basically it's causing the company to go bankrupt. So basically, I think that this problem is a problem that every AI company has. And our goal is to solve that problem, maybe more than it is to solve the image gen problem. There's a lot of good image gen apps out there. We want to make the best one, of course. But I think that the real win is when we can find ways to like let people who have neural networks come to us and say, I want to put this on your platform and use all the GPUs that you have on your platform to lower my bill or allow me to have that sort of daytime versus nighttime load, or if I'm growing, I can add more GPUs, or if I need an extra supplement, I can go to your site. So I think this is the major problem. And you see NVIDIA's worth almost $3 trillion now. It's the second biggest company in the world, and that's because people want to buy these machines. And the problem with these machines is about half of them are sitting dormant right now. They're either unplugged or they're plugged in a data center and they're not being used. There's companies like Stability that have them that don't need to use them. There's companies like us that have them and wish they had more. And sometimes between training runs, we'll power them down, but we're still paying for them. So it's really frustrating because you might say, oh, we'll just keep using it. Well, we have to go adjust our code and adjust our data sets and then restart the training again. So in that time frame, it could be a week or two where our GPU is just sitting there. And it would be really nice to share it, but there's no easy way to do that either. So I think if you actually looked at all the GPUs available in the world, you can use those right now. They cover the amount of demand times like 10. But because of the dislocation of where the GPUs are and whether or not they can be shared because of software reasons, there is a shortage of GPUs, even though paradoxically we have more than we need. So it's kind of like water everywhere, but not a drop to drink. There's chips everywhere, but not a drop of compute to have. So it's a really ironic situation that could be solved by software, and that's kind of our approach here. It's very difficult. Web GPU is astonishingly hard. It's its own language called Web GPU Shader Language, so WGSL. And WGSL is its own brand new language. So it's a computer programming language that looks a little like Rust, but it's its own language that does its own things. So you have to learn a whole new language to work with it. Very few people know it. And then you have to sort of transpile and work with other sort of harnesses, whether it's Onyx or something called Apache TVM. So there's a whole lot of stuff you need to do to engineer this, but we were able to sort of put it all together. My X has this like bug where I have this like stupid really stupid thing on X. It sucks. I have a time limit and the time limit keeps me sometimes from streaming. Okay. Sorry about that. Can you guys still hear me? Sorry. So yeah, I have a little bug on my phone. So what was I saying? The Web GPU shader language is rather difficult to work with, but I do think that people like Zenova at Hugging Face and a few other people, quite a number of Hugging Face people, quite a number of Google people, and a number of Microsoft people, but really a total number of people that's probably, quite frankly, less than 1,000 people who really work with Web GPU every day and know it really well. You have to change everything from sort of Python to JavaScript, which isn't that big of a change, in my opinion. And most of these neural networks are not gigantic amounts of code. They're gigantic models, but the code is really usually 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 lines of Python. Now, a lot of that Python relies on other libraries, but thankfully we do have transformers.js and we do have diffusers.js. So there are ways to sort of use some of the existing workloads and libraries that exist out there in JavaScript land. So I think for the developer, when we get sort of an ability to rent out this cloud, for lack of a better term, to other developers, other than just our own company that's running this image gen model on it, I think it's going to be really exciting for both people who can earn as well as people who can rent. Right now, this launch is sort of a proof of concept where, we made this work, and it was a lot of work, but it was really enjoyable to sort of connect all these systems and watch them work. But we're going to add more complex neural networks. There's definitely a whole lot going on in images, but also possibly audio and LLMs. And that way, like I said, you might be able to, certainly as a GPU owner, earn something with your GPU, but also as a potential enterprise, you can rent GPUs one time or at scale, or throttle up or throttle down, depending on your own needs.
Yeah, okay, gotcha. GPU is a freaking grand programming unit, but I'm totally bearish on Adobe Photoshop, the generative expand feature. It's absolutely terrible. But yeah, Shoggoth, pretty bullish on it, mate. Keep it going. I think there's so much potential with it, and it already created Hitler, and thank God the space is unrecorded, but Hitler and Jesus outfit. I want to see it produce some god-like images. Would love to see that when I get back home. So yeah, we'll be using it. How much is it to pay for more credits or something? I wasn't able to check.
Yeah, it's only $3. So if you pay $3, you get I think it's 100 images. And like I said, if you click the earn button, you'll actually earn crypto. And our hope is that we can get you earning hopefully over $100 or $200 a month for your GPU. There'll be a lot of tweaking that has to happen there, but WebGPU is a really exciting young technology that as our GPUs get more powerful, especially with Apple's silicon, I think that we're going to be able to do all the inference we need on the edge, and quite frankly, the speed requirement of not having to go to a server, which depending on where you are in the world, because GPUs don't move with you, it's hard to have a GPU CDN. It could be 100 milliseconds to get that to work. So I think the edge is where all this is going to happen. Obviously, our cell phones are still a little too weak to do neural networks, but I think even that's happening, where Apple's putting neural networks or neural cores in their phone processors, and we're going to see that more and more. Obviously, Google is as well. So I think that we're really excited about that. And the crypto we launched is also, I think, pretty exciting. This is a Solana token. Solana is, I think, one of the best blockchains that exists. There's a lot of people trying to cash in on the GPU kind of like craze, and I think a lot of people are doing it kind of the wrong way. We think that most of these sort of tools lack sort of ease of use. So people who rent out their GPUs need a really easy way to do it, and there's nothing easier than going to a website and pressing a button. But I think on the developer side as well, my experience with all of these apps has been terrible. It's been really hard to use any GPU in general, sort of sharing tools. Everyone sort of has a flaw. And then a lot of these companies are looking for gigantic market caps, like several billion, for brand new projects, which is really kind of distressing to me. So we were able to launch this system that works day one. It's not a promise, it works right now. And, can also both provide earnings for people sharing GPUs, but also for us. So, I'm excited. I do think the edginess is important. I just got a request for crack addict smoking a crack pipe, HD, which is high def, wrinkles on face. Again, not my cup of tea, but I do think that there are people who want to make images that Hugging Face, Midjourney, and Stability won't make for you. And that's an image that may offend somebody. It may not be cool, but it's not something that is illegal or dangerous. And I think if somebody wants to make those kinds of images, they should be allowed to. And it's not sort of stability or Midjourney's place to say, no, you can't do that. So I think that there's a huge market for that. Again, we don't want to be making tons of deep fakes. We don't want to be making pornography. I think there are going to be some guardrails, but I think that the sort of having fun, like sort of like what Elon says, having fun has kind of been made illegal on so much social media. You can't tell jokes anymore. You can't do anything even remotely edgy. So we do want to be a little bit more accessible. And again, we're sort of free to try. We give you 50 free photos right away, which is much more than anybody else does. So I'm really, pumped about our project. Anybody else have a question?